The artist that I chose to cover was Gustav Klimt, a secessionist. Gustav Klimt was born in 1862 in the outskirts of Vienna, Austria. Both of his parents worked in the art field. Perhaps his parents are why Klimt showed such talent at a young age of 14 when he left his normal school to study at the Vienna School of Arts and Crafts with a scholarship. At the school, Klimt was taught a wide range of disciplines. In 1883, Klimt graduated and opened a studio called Company of Artists with his brother Ernest and their friend Franz. They focused mostly on murals and agreed to favor the historical style of the upper-class Vienna aristocracy. The Company of Artists was soon commissioned with numerous works, from painting churches to theaters. The most famous work from this time period was a mural at the Vienna Burg Theater. In 1883, the group received a Golden Order of Merit from the Emperor of the Austro-Hungary, Franz Joseph I. Soon after, the group joined the Vienna Artists Association, which was a prestigious collection of artists that took claim to most of the commissions in the area. Art at the time was done in a conservative traditional style. The paintings were tightly controlled and realistic. It was characterized with three-dimensional drawings and often had subjects in glorified forms from the past. An example from his work during this time was a scene from Romeo and Juliet, which is a stark contrast from what he did in his latter works with free-flowing forms. Other art movements at the time that Klimt was alive were the Impressionist movement, a manner of painting with representational light, Post-Impressionists, which incorporates numerous groups and styles of expressions beyond just light, Art Nouveau, a highly decorative style of design, Symbolist art, which was inspired by mystical and magnified sensitivity. All these movements influenced Klimt in his upcoming years. In 1892, Klimt experienced a personal tragedy. Both his father and his brother Ernest died. Klimt was crushed and began to reject his training in naturalism and started to create his own personal style. The style he created was more decorative, with heavy symbolism. Klimt was on a quest to find more meaning in his art, which led him and other like-minded artists to leave the Vienna Artists Association in 1897 and create the Vienna Secession Organization. The group decided to stray away from traditionalism and focus on new non-traditional art. Klimt became the first president and worked closely with the organization for the rest of his life. Shortly after, Klimt hit his golden phase, which began in 1898 with the work called Pallas Athena. This was the first of many works that used gold leaf and flat two-dimensional perspective. It had a striking reminiscence of mosaics from the Byzantine Empire. Three of his most famous pieces were created at this time. In 1901, Judith. In 1907, Danae. In 1908, The Kiss. The grand painting commissioned by Bloch-Bauer for his wife, Adele Bloch-Bauer, was sold for $135 million in 2006 and was the focus of the movie titled Woman in Gold. The most valued prize that Klimt received was in 1911 when his painting Life and Death received first prize at an international exhibit in Rome. All his pieces showcase surface, pattern, and line. He was interested in the psychological. Klimt emphasized a dreamlike world expression with soft focus effects. He would probably have said, "Flowing through life with no control is the essence of life." As an artist, Klimt tried to portray universal emotions like love, suffering, and hope. He would practice daily with the line of his figures and would try different positions so that he could create the perfect image of emotional intensity. Klimt was never interested in self-portraits. Instead, he cared more about the subjects of his paintings. Klimt's later works were mostly made up of women and landscapes. He is known to this day as a bachelor, with countless affairs and fathering 14 children along the way. In January 1918, Klimt suffered from a stroke that hospitalized him, where he caught pneumonia and died. In summary, he was known for his decorative style and sensual depiction of women in his works. He was non-traditional and creative. 3 quotes that sum him up would be, quote, "There is always hope as long as the canvases are empty," end quote. Quote, "All art is erotic," end quote. And, quote, "Art is a line around your thoughts," end quote. Now I want to go through his body of work to show how his personal style grew throughout his life. First, some sketches that demonstrate his use of line. This is a bit of work done by Klimt Ernest in France in the Kunsthistorisches Museum in Vienna, where they executed 40 paintings for the opening in 1891. This piece was titled Ideal and was commissioned in a portfolio with allegorical themes. This piece is entitled Tragedy. This is a secessionist building that was built in order to show the work of the organization. This is a group photo of all the secessionists together. This piece is entitled Fish Blood and was created in 1898. Judith, 1901. Danae, 1907. The Kiss, 1908. Portrait of Adele Bloch-Bauer. The Tree of Life, 1909. Hygeia, Detail from Medicine, 1907. Hope, 1903. 3 Ages of Woman, 1905. Life and Death, 1908. He also did landscapes. The elements that Klimt used most often were line, color, and texture. He also used the principles of pattern, asymmetrical balance, and emphasis. All can be seen in this depiction of the kiss. The functions seen in his art are delight and self-expression. Klimt appreciated the beauty of woman and decoration. He has his own self-expression he created with his dreamlike world to express his ideas as seen in the 3 Ages of Woman and Life and Death. Some criticism thrown at Klimt was his art was too erotic and rebelled against tradition. An expression theory of Klimt would be that he paid too much attention to his own artistic interpretation of the world. Another quote of his that backs this theory is that, quote, "There is nothing that is special to see when looking at me. I am a painter who paints day in, day out, from morning till evening, figure pictures and landscapes, more rarely portraits," end quote. He was simple, however, he expressed himself through his art. In conclusion, Gustav Klimt is a highly skilled, classically trained artist who chose expression over the traditional style of the time. His style was decorative and flowing, and is a highly regarded artist of the secession movement. In the past, I created a piece influenced by the work of Klimt, and I thought it would be fun to add it into the presentation.